And so, I mean, I think the place to start this week is probably with the Woman King. I think the Woman King is it's a big thing, and this is because, as I said, as we have it, Shaun. I was talking about about it giving me anxiety. It was the fact that I knew this film was out, and I knew that because we have a Shaun was going to see it, and and every now and then, I'm not sure whether it happens to you guys, but for me, a film comes out, and I'm just going, okay, I want to be the one to talk about this film when we talk about it on the podcast. I want to be the one to review this film. I want to be involved in the discussion. And The Woman King came out and I was like, oh, Shaun's going to see this film. I want to be the one who talks about this film. This is the kind of film that I've been talking about, the kind of film that I've been talking about that I would make myself for years. And I was trying everything to get to the cinema, and then life just said no. Life kept saying no. And so I unfortunately have not seen The Woman King, to my sadness. So Shaun, I'm going to keep quiet now. I'm going to hand over to you, and I'm just going to sort of stew and mumble and grumble while you tell us about The Woman King.
Okay, well, I will, because I mean, the thing is, I was really hoping you would see this as well, because then you could tell me, because I know when we watched Avengers, the first Avengers film, where we spoke about the costumes, and also with the film when we spoke about the costumes and things like that. And I was sat there. I was thinking, I wish Tosin was here, and then I could say, "What do you reckon?" And he might say, "Oh yeah, that's from West Africa. That's from." And so, because I think in this film they tried to incorporate, a lot of African sort of tribal dress and traditions and things. So when you do see it, you can tell.
Yeah. Because the film, from what I can understand, the film is based on an actual tribe, on an actual sort of group of warrior women who existed in the Dahomey tribe, which I believe is somewhere near. It is West Africa, and I believe it's somewhere out Cameroon way. Right. But so tell us about this film.
Okay, so this film, it's about Dahomey as a small kingdom, and they've got a regiment, or that are called the King's Guard, and they're all female, and they're all they have to live they're not allowed to have babies, they're not allowed to take husbands, they live in like a compound, they do a lot of training, so I guess a bit like the Amazons. And but what's good about this as well is there's also what I really like, because I mean, from the trailer I thought, I'm not sure about this, but they actually have men in the army as well, so they've got strong men as well, so it's not just purely, I thought in the big scenes, it's not just purely women. There are men in the army as well, that when they do fight, the men actually fight with them. And there's some dude, he doesn't really say a lot, but he's like another general, a man general, and I was quite impressed with him. I was really impressed with him. I thought, he played a good, because he's strong as well. And they made no bones about it. I know there seems to be a lot of controversy on this, but so basically they were a slave estate as well. So they used to capture slaves to sell to the Europeans. And there's also this other tribe, which I can't remember the name of the other tribes. Well, there's two tribes, and they're the same. And they decide, one of the tribes is like, they have to pay, the Dahomey tribe have to pay tribute to this other group. And they decide they're not going to pay the tribute. So things go a little bit awry, and you have heads rolling, shall we say, and stuff, and sent off and what have you. But the story, there's also this plot that there's this young girl, and that she's got to be in an arranged marriage, and the bloke's really, really horrible, so she refuses. So her dad takes her and says, you take her and you train her up. So then she trains with her.
Becomes part of the King's Guard.
I forget what they call the anyway. So, but they train with the King's Guard. That they've got a name. And in this film, there's a lot of characters, which I'm pretty sure there was the lady who plays James Bond in the 007, not James Bond.
Lashana Lynch is in it. Yep.
And I mean, they were. It reminded me a bit of, like, with some of the dance scenes and stuff, which reminded me about going back to the film Zulu, because they have a lot of dance scenes, and it's very similar. And I know that's South Africa, I know that's a different area, but you've got a lot of tribal dances and tribal songs and things, and it's really, really colourful as well. It's lovely.
Come on, it's West Africa, and of course it's colourful.
Of course it's colourful. Sorry, what am I saying? So So basically, it's the story. You know, this young girl, she becomes a warrior. They refuse to pay tribute. They decide that she becomes quite high standing, and they decide that they want to give up slaving and do olive oil, but they still have to do the slaves, and people get captured. And there's the normal tropes of it. You know, there's the normal tropes in it. Tropes of, you know, people getting captured and having to be rescued, and people getting their heads chopped off, and big surprise fights, and, you know, well, not surprise fights, but there's a fair decent bit of action in it. And Boyega, who plays the king,
John Boyega, yeah.
John Boyega. I've never really been a major fan of him, because he was like in the Star Wars stuff and stuff, but I thought he was brilliant in this. He really convinced me that he would have been an African king. He had, because he wasn't, let's say he wasn't like arrogant, but he had that, you know, that this I'm in charge type of thing. And
had a regal standing about him, a regal.
Yeah, regal. Yeah, he looked good, so he was convincing. It was, but actually the acting was very, very convincing. So yeah, I was really quite surprised at this, because I wasn't expecting it from the trailer. I thought, that one. So yeah, I mean, it's got all what you want, really. It's got lots of action. It's got a few good storyline. The acting's excellent. The cinematography with the colours and that is just so vibrant. And
okay, so Shaun, I'll tell you one of the things that I wanted that I don't know why, but each time I've seen anything about this film, the comparison that keeps coming into my head is Braveheart, and I don't know why it keeps coming into my head. I know, is it anything like that?
No, I don't. Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's anything like Braveheart.
Okay,
but then I don't know. I mean, I haven't really researched. I probably will. I haven't really researched the history.
I just meant as a film watching experience.
Oh, what?
So like the way the story goes and everything like that.
Take away our freedom, type of thing.
Fight scenes where they're coming and everything like that. That's just what came into my head, but I'm not sure if it's right or not.
Yeah. For me personally, no, I don't think it was like Braveheart. I don't think
it was. Cool,
it didn't come to me like it was Braveheart, and I don't think it was trying to be particularly historical either. So
okay,
you know, I know there's a lot of. I'm surprised there's quite a lot of controversy about this, isn't there? Saying, oh, you know, they're horrible. Yeah, I believe there is. It was who was it who told me? I was talking to someone, said, oh, there's a lot of controversy about that film because they were horrible slavers and they massacred people, those women warriors, and they all sorts of things like that. So apparently they were not particularly nice. You know, they used to go and get the slaves basically to sell to the Europeans. And you've got people that are saying, oh, it's not historically accurate. It's not, you know, it's glossed over history. But I don't think that would really come into it. They acknowledged the fact that they were slavers and they wanted to change that. So they acknowledged the fact. I guess the one. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No.
Get political here.
I don't want to get political. Let's save it for when I see it. When I see it, I can come in and I can come in all guns blazing. But for now, how many stars would you give it?
Okay, I'm gonna give it, because there's a scene between, you know, let's just say it's in the trailer, so it's not going to spoil it. There's a bit of a romance scene, and how that happens is a bit contrived, and I sort of thought, oh no, that was very much towards the end, and it's a shame really, because I would say that's one of the few things that detracted from it. But yeah, colourful, well acted, great characters. I don't know, it's a difficult one, this. When I go and see it again, I would say I would give this a really, really strong 3, a really, really strong 3.
Okay.
And I can't wait for you to see it. You really need